with you, Bill, I want to start. We just saw the trailer. Tell us the distilled version of what happened to your son, Sean.
First 2 years were normal. When he was around 2, we noticed his rear was swelling up. They didn't know what it was. They did surgery, and they found out he had a rare form of cancer, rhabdomyosarcoma, and they had to amputate his left leg at the hip. They also found that the cancer had metastasized to his spine. He had to go through 6 weeks of daily radiation. He survived, and we thought he was cured. And then when he was 5, he was discovered to have myelodysplastic syndrome, which is a form of leukemia, and he had to have a bone marrow transplant. After he survived that, and right before he went to college, he was being followed up, and they found he had liver cancer. And they knew it wasn't the primary tumor, and they did the colonoscopy, found that he had stage 4 colon cancer. So he still wanted to go. He went to Rochester Institute of Technology. He wanted to be a mechanical engineer and invent a leg that would listen to the brain and work like a real leg was his goal. So he got treatment up there. He had surgery in February of his freshman year, and they did combination liver and colon at the same time. They tried to do it robotically, but they didn't factor in that the left leg amputation dropped the gallbladder, got nicked during surgery. And yeah, it was a traumatic experience. In the ICU, he was bleeding pretty bad, and he was conscious. And he remembers the doctors arguing about you can't take him back in the ER, he wouldn't come out alive. He remembered all of that. He got through that, resumed chemo treatment, and after his freshman year, he ended up moving into he went off campus with 3 girls, and the girls were in the graphic arts program there. And I found out a lot after the fact that I wish I would have known ahead of time, but in February that year, one day he just announced to me that he was transgender. And I asked him questions about it, and the answers, he's a bright kid. He had 1,400 on the SATs. And what makes you think you have that? And he's describing, well, the girls drew pictures of what I would look like as a girl, and I don't really like my body, which I can understand him not liking his body, but how he was able to be influenced by these girls, and they were able to do that. I had meetings with and I didn't know anything about that. I knew about Bruce Jenner, but my knowledge was really limited. And the school, Rochester Institute of Technology, they had their whole psychology department. They had 6 or 7 people against me describing what you had to do and what's a good parent do. And New York being a one-way state, I did tape it. So I had references when I could go back later on to get clarification on things. The hospital was the same thing. They have a psychiatrist that does the consultation with the oncology patients, and they interviewed Sean and I for 20 minutes, talked to Sean 20 minutes, and then came back and concluded, yes, he's definitely transgender, and now I'm an abusive, unsupportive parent. I was able to doing further research, I was able to get in touch with some parent groups, and then I was put in touch with a endocrinologist, Dr. Michael Laidlow, who was able to give me a bunch of questions to ask, tests to make, and we were able to fend him off getting the hormones for a little bit. COVID comes, and I'm restricted from being up there, so I'm not able to observe what was going on, but I thought for sure that we were pretty certain we knew if he got the hormones, it would be fatal. And we found out it was in February or April of 21, all his chemo appointments were going well. I had just reviewed 5 days earlier. He had an appointment. Everything was good. There was no signs of any problems or anything. And as I'm reviewing it, a police officer pulled up to my house. And I'm asking, it's like, what happened? I wonder if my other son did something. And the officer goes, we ever got a call from Monroe County, your daughter died. I said, you got the wrong house. I don't have a daughter. And upon follow further up, I realized they were referring to Sean. We can go back. I couldn't understand what happened. I called oncology. They were shocked. They said, no, that couldn't happen. There's nothing that was wrong. And we tried to get blood samples. I hired a private investigator. They gave us a tainted sample. We could not get testing done. But from looking at the medical results, again, there was a significant weight change that happened a few months before. His weight was consistent at 115 pounds for 3 years, and all of a sudden, it shot up to 126 in a 2-week period. And at the when we were doing the funeral, it ended. I could tell. I thought they had the wrong body. It did not look like my son. And then we're trying to get through everything and doing the funeral arrangements. I found out that my siblings. I didn't think people knew about it. I thought it was pretty much squashed. And, hey, manage it. I'll kick the can down the road a little bit. But the siblings were undermining me behind my back. My late wife's sisters were the same way. Say, hey, your dad's just an idiot. Don't listen to him. We're supporting you 100%. They refused to participate in the funeral service. They refused to go to the luncheon afterwards, and they still to this day do not talk to me or have anything to do with me. And it's just the nightmare that parents have to go through is unbelievable.
Yeah.
And part of the reason I did this documentary, I do not want another parent to have to go through what I went through.
Yeah, thank you.